Hello everybody, thank you for watching Drinking with Nerds. I'm Don, and this is Bar Shocks. The Bard is the best class in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Fucking fight me. I have been playing a Bard pretty much since I first got into Dungeons & Dragons. I was almost immediately drawn in towards them. I loved the idea of a class that could do pretty much anything. You want to cast a spell? You can do that. You want to get in with the melee front line and swing a sword? You can do that too. Do you want to know a little bit about everything, or be able to at least fake like you know how to do a little bit of everything? You definitely can do that. When I hear that people generally don't like the Bard, I usually hear one of two complaints. There's either the Bard is useless compared to insert class here, or the Bard in my campaign tried to seduce everything, was really annoying, and just kept making a bunch of dick jokes. To be fair, that's like every Dungeons & Dragons class if it's certain people playing it, so I don't really take that with too much seriousness. But the other one I feel is valid to look at, because in past editions, there actually was some argument that could be made for the fact that Bards were just not that great compared to other classes you wanted to play. Granted, my playstyle leans heavily into actually role-playing a character, and I don't really concern myself too much with actual mechanical stat building or making sure I have the most functional or most powerful character at the table, but I still want an effective character. I don't really have fun if I realize that I've had a build where I can't really do anything and I've been outclassed by most of the table. It's half the reason I don't do roll for stats anymore. The last time I played a paladin with a whopping 14 strength, and the ninja had 18. In previous editions, bards did not get that many spells, and those they did leaned very heavily into weaving illusions or charming people or messing with their minds in some way. They also only got spells up to 6th level, whereas in Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder, the highest level of spell casting is 9th level for most other classes, like wizards and sorcerers. While they had abilities that made them very knowledgeable about very many things, oftentimes it was hard to take advantage of all of that. And more often than not, the rogue in the party got way more skill points than you, so they could pretty much do the same exact thing. And they got sneak attack, the bastards. 5th edition fixed nearly all of this, I feel. Within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, a bard is now a full caster. They can get up to 9th level spells, just like clerics, just like wizards. The amount of spells that they can select from has also greatly increased. They now get quite a few spells that are very handy for crowd control, or for just straight up doing damage. They can heal, they can buff, they can debuff. They're pretty much useful for any situation, and you can tailor select your spells to be the kind of character that you want. If you want to be an inspiring, lead from the front kind of warrior, you can do that. If you want to hang in the back and strum a lute and tell everyone else, "You've got this, guys!" you could do that as well. With the archetype system in 5th edition, this goes even further. College of Lore bards gain lots of magical abilities that allow them to start cherry-picking spells from other class lists, allowing them to pick up very powerful buffs from the cleric list, or incredibly powerful destructive spells from the wizard. The College of Valor and the College of Swords allow bards to become much more martial, able to wear heavier armor, get into the melee next to the fighters and the paladins, and be able to use their bardic inspirations to either harm their enemies or make themselves very deft with a blade. The College of Glamour, the Bowie School if you will, allows you to charm pretty much anyone, taking the idea of bardic entertainment to its max limits. A single word from you, or a single puff of your pipe, makes the entire town follow you, as if you were the Pied Piper himself. The College of Whispers allows you to play a bard who's a little bit more nefarious or devious, using the normal goodwill that is given to these courtiers, these poets and entertainers, to get close to people and take them out. There is no one right way to play a bard. People will argue that there are certain right ways to play other classes. Barbarians always must be big and strong. Rogues must always be sneaky and underhanded, and in many cases, not very ethical. Paladins must always be upright and chivalrous and noble. This is not true. It's decidedly untrue in 5th edition, and I would argue it was untrue in previous editions as well. But the bard is allowed to do nearly anything with the skills and abilities it has in hand. You gain a free selection of 3 different skills that you want. You can play one that's a magical detective who uses their abilities to sort out crime scenes and investigate witnesses. You can play one who is much more martially minded, who wears that armor, carries that heavier weapon, and was perhaps a soldier, an officer, giving orders to their men, inspiring them upon the field in order to make them fight harder. You can be a spy. You can be a scout. You can be anything you want. Personally, I feel if the class was just renamed to Adventurer, the type of person that picked up a little bit of everything along the way, a little bit of magic, a little bit of skill with a weapon, a little bit of diverse and useful skills, nobody would have a problem with this class. Because in a sense, they are the true adventurer of Dungeons & Dragons. They can do a tiny bit of everything. They may not fight as well as a fighter. They may not heal as well as a cleric. They may not be as much of a skill monkey as a rogue. But they will always fight a little bit better than a cleric. They always heal better than a rogue. They will always be more skillful than a fighter. I love the diversity that they bring. I love the fact that every single time I've played a bard, they are completely diverse from one another. Have almost nothing in common. If you haven't tried out the bard in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, please do so. You'll be doing yourself a favor. Don't trap yourself in stereotypes. You don't have to be a foppish, simpering idiot. You don't have to chase everything on 2 legs, or with more legs, it's Dungeons & Dragons, and be just an annoyance to your table carrying on with these silly antics. You don't have to not be the hero just because you're the guy with the loot. Get rid of the loot. Grab a sword. Be a bard. Be a hero. I'm Don. This has been Bar Shots, and I'll be toasting to you next time.